All right, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. And today I'm going to try to do something that I do not usually do on this channel for a few different reasons. I'm going to address some of the YouTube comments that I've gotten over the last couple of days. And I don't usually do this, mostly because it would just be way too time consuming, but also because I don't really feel like there's a need to most of the time. I put my videos out there. I say things that I believe. I put out stances, I put out beliefs, I put out opinions, and I understand that most of the people who watch those videos are either going to agree with me or they're going to appreciate, at the very least, having a different perspective or having additional knowledge. And there's going to be some small percentage of the people who watch any of my videos that have any kind of editorializing, and they're either going to not understand it or they're going to disagree with it. And I don't feel the need to chase those people around to try to get them to understand why I'm a genius. I can just let it go. Once I put the video out there, either you get it or you don't, either you agree with it or you don't, and I'm cool with that. I don't feel the need to chase people around because they didn't get it or they don't agree or they don't like it. But in this case, I'm going to make a follow-up video to a video I made a couple days ago because a lot of people who watched that video and commented on it either didn't get it or didn't agree with it, and some of them really didn't seem to like the fact that I made that video. So I think there was probably something in there that I didn't convey the way that I wanted to convey. So this is going to be a follow-up to a video I made a couple of days ago talking about Pete Carroll going on 710 radio Monday morning and criticizing a couple of his players for not executing the way he wants them to execute. Specifically, he referred to Jamal Adams and Julian Love. So I took him to task for this. I was heavily critical of him for this. I accused him of throwing his players under the bus. I accused him of trying to shift blame away from himself and towards other entities so he has somebody to blame for when things go wrong. And a lot of people didn't agree. A lot of people really didn't like that video. And while I would usually, like I said, just let that go and say, okay, people can just disagree. People can not like every video I put out. There were a lot of people on that video who even said, usually I agree with you, but I don't agree with you here. Or I don't like Pete Carroll, but I don't understand why you posted this video. Or I agree with you pretty much everything you ever said about Carroll, but why are you defending Jamal Adams and Julian Love when they clearly didn't do their job? And I want to address that. So, first of all, let me be very clear about something. There's nothing wrong with believing that the players are not playing the way they need to play. That is very clearly true. It is 100% the truth, undeniably so, that some players, like Jamal Adams and like Julian Love, are not executing as they should be right now. There's no doubt about that. We have players up and down this roster that are not living up to expectations as players. And I have no doubt that Pete Carroll goes into the VMAC pretty much every single day, especially right now when things are going so poorly with the team losing 4 straight games and looking as bad as they have looked, and probably constantly has to point out the things that these players are not executing properly. And I have no problem with him doing that. I am not saying that Jamal Adams didn't make a mistake in that game. I am not saying that Julian Love did not make a mistake in that game. Nothing could be further from the truth. They very clearly did. I call out players all the time on this channel, and I'm sure Pete Carroll is doing it constantly at the VMAC. But here's the thing. My real issue, the reason why I made that video, and the reason why I have a problem with this is, well, first of all, why do you think he did it on a radio show? Why do you think he did it in public? He did it on a radio show where he's probably going to be heard by thousands of people, and that radio interview gets posted on YouTube where probably tens of thousands of people see it, and then you're going to have other tens of thousands of people who hear about it secondhand, what he said. You might be reaching hundreds of thousands of people, and maybe it's millions. I don't know. I don't know if this stuff reaches a national audience or not. But given the internet these days, this is something that gets aired out to millions of people, including people that have nothing to do with the Seahawks organization, much less actually playing for the Seahawks. So why do you think Pete Carroll is doing that? Why do you think he feels the need to make sure the whole world knows that these players are not executing as coached? Why do you think that? Isn't this something that would typically be kept behind closed doors? Isn't this something that he would typically handle privately, quietly, at the VMAC where it actually matters? Why wouldn't he just go up to those players and tell them, look, you're not executing according to the way you're being coached. You need to get this right next time. And then he can go out in his radio interview or in press conferences and just say, we need to be better. He can do the Russell Wilson. He can just say, we need to be better and it starts with me. Or he can take the blame on him and just say, hey, it's my fault. I didn't get the players ready enough and we'll do better next time. That's what he does most of the time. You're right. A lot of people said he usually does take the blame. You're right. So I'm asking you guys, why do you think he's not taking the blame this time on this count? Because I think he's feeling pressure to offload some of the blame. That is my main issue here. There is nothing to gain from him doing it in a public setting. There is nothing to gain from him doing it on the radio where the whole world can hear it. I don't think these players are going to go, oh, I thought Pete Carroll was trolling me when he told me I was screwing up in the game at the VMAC, but he said it on the radio, so therefore I can now take him seriously. No, I don't think that. I don't think you gain anything from that. If anything, I think maybe you risk the player becoming frustrated with the fact that he's getting humiliated in public like that. Like, why do you feel the need to rub Jamal Adams' nose in the fact that he messed up in that game? You can tell him it privately, but why are you doing it in front of the whole world? That is the thing that bothers me when Pete Carroll does something like this. Especially when last time a Seahawks season went off the rails, which was 2021, Carroll did this constantly. Every other post-game press conference, he was throwing Russell Wilson under the bus. Saying things like, I wish Russell Wilson did this. I wish Russell Wilson did that. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. And this goes all the way back to the 2021 offseason, before that season, where Russell Wilson released that statement and spoke about, in public, he spoke in public about how he was sick of getting hit all the time, which was tacitly criticizing his offensive line. And there was obviously some ripples. There were some waves made from that statement. And when the offseason ultimately came to a conclusion and Russell Wilson was not traded, Pete did come out. If you remember that press conference with Pete and John shortly after the trade rumors were nixed, Carroll did say, yeah, Russell broke the rules. He aired out dirty laundry. He shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be criticizing his teammates in public like that. And we spoke to him and said that better never happen again. I remember watching that interview live. So this is something that Pete knows should not happen. You keep this stuff behind closed doors. You don't air out your dirty laundry. And yet, for the second time in 3 years, Pete Carroll feels the need to start airing out his dirty laundry as soon as things start to go sour. The issue that I have is not that he's wrong. The issue I have is that he's doing this in public. So I ask again, why would he be doing this on a radio show that he knows? He knows full well. He knows full well that he can get away with just giving non-answers to everything he gets asked. He can say, we have to be better over and over and over again, and he's not going to get pressed on it because he's been doing it forever. Russell Wilson got away with doing it forever too. Just use the old Russell Wilson line and end the interview as soon as you can, and then go back to the VMAC and privately say what needs to be said. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is just the fact that it still comes back to Pete Carroll. Like Jamal Adams blowing his coverage when he's 40 yards down the field on a 3rd and 11 trying to cover Deebo Samuel. Jamal Adams should not be 40 yards from the line of scrimmage. Jamal Adams should not be playing with his back to the line of scrimmage. Jamal Adams should be blitzing on 3rd and 11. Jamal Adams should be playing up near the line of scrimmage. It is your fault that you put him in that situation and expect good things to happen. You should not be asking Jamal Adams to do that kind of stuff. Jamal Adams is better as a man defender than a zone defender, and he's better near the line of scrimmage than away from it. He's better playing downhill than running backwards. There's nothing about Jamal Adams that says he needs to be put in that situation like he's Earl Thomas, like he's Quandre Diggs even. Those players were good at that kind of stuff. Jamal Adams is not. So you asking Jamal Adams to do something that he's not very good at, that you know he can't really do, and then getting mad when he doesn't do it, that's not really going to fly with me either. Who brought Jamal Adams in? Who loves Jamal Adams so much that he gave him $70 million? Why is Jamal Adams still on this team when you could have made him a post-June 1st cut in the offseason? Because you like him. So if you like him, utilize him in the way that he's meant to be utilized. And if he can't do it, don't ask him to do those things. So it comes back to Pete regardless. So him acting like, oh, I did everything correct and Jamal Adams just messed up. Or Julian Love just messed up. Julian Love's another player who saw his greatest success when he was playing under Wink Martindale in New York when they used, I think, the highest rate of man coverage in the entire NFL. So he's not really a zone defender either. Julian Love is better off in man. So you asking him to play zone and then acting like it's all his fault when he gets beat in zone, that's not going to fly with me either. A lot of these players are not being put in positions to succeed. They're being put in positions to fail. That's on Carroll. So even on that level, I don't agree with him trying to pass things off to somebody else. But at the end of the day, my thing is this. In public, just say it's my fault. And then in private, you go say what needs to be said to the players. So that is what I'm getting at here. There is nothing wrong with it being pointed out that Jamal Adams and Julian Love are messing up, or any other player on the Seahawks for that matter. The problem is it's coming from the head coach, and it's being done in a very public format where now the whole world gets to hear it. Like, I would not shock me if what Pete Carroll said reaches over 1 million people because of the way the internet is now. And what does he gain from that? What do you think Pete Carroll benefits from being able to air that out to so many people versus just airing it out to the few people in the organization that really need to hear it, like, say, the players? All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.